Yes. Yeah. Let's hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we are live now. Hi,
Brilliant.
everybody. Hi, thank you for waiting with us. We had a few technical issues, but we're here now and we're really excited to answer all of your questions. So hi, I'm Annabel and I'm here with Keith Brymer Jones. So welcome to our Q&A.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. If you could maybe pop in the chat, like where you're tuning in from, who you are, that would be great for us to see. I'm tuning in from London, and Keith is actually in the Isle of Bute in the beautiful Scotland. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
lovely
Look,
to see.
it's very green here.
Yeah, it's
It's very
lovely.
green. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss that about London. It's very not green, very grey, especially today. It's not the best day. But yeah, if you could just pop in the chat where you're tuning in from, that would be great. We also do have a question for you to start us off, just to break the ice in the chat. We were wondering if you could make anything in the world, any item of pottery, with no budget constraints. You don't need to even be able to make pottery. What would you make? Keith, if you want to kick us off.
I would make a fire sculpture.
Ooh.
Now, a fire sculpture is something that I've always wanted to do. I do a sort of a clay event down in Australia, which I've just come back from, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And basically, it's full of a bunch of nutters who love fire and clay. And the fire sculptures are things that you create on a landscape, and then you build the kiln around it, and then you fire it in situ. And then when the sculpture gets up to optimum temperature, round about 1300 degrees centigrade, you then tear down the outside of the kiln, and you're left with this glowing obelisk or sculpture in the landscape. And at this place I go to in Golgon, there are many of these all dotted all around the landscape. It's quite incredible, and I'd love to do one of those in Wales. Yeah, that would be really handy. Yeah. I'd love to do that. Yeah,
I'd love to come and see that. Would that be in Pwllheli up in North Wales?
Yeah, Pwllheli. Yeah. We've got a massive car park, so at some point we're going to have to fill it with something. So a fire sculpture would be one great thing to fill it with. Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be a tourist attraction to North Wales, a fire sculpture.
Yeah.
So we've got Janet in the chat who's saying hello from Sheffield. Hi, Janet. It's great to see you. If you joined while we've been talking about our dream pottery items that we'd make if we could do anything in the world. And Keith would make a fire sculpture.
A big one.
A big one. I'm not sure what I'd make. I know this sounds really boring, but I really love the perfect bowl, like in between a bowl and a plate. It's just perfect for things like pasta, which I eat a lot, and you can never get the right shape. It's always either too bowly or too platey, and everything slips off the side.
Well, I think bowls are like mugs. You have your own favorite bowl, and obviously you would have your own. You've got your own specific shape for what you like eating, and why not? Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I've got a mug that I've had for years. I think my friend gave it to me in primary school as a present, and I just love it. I can't do without it. And it's a bit gross now. It's kind of stained with tea, no matter what I do. But I don't want to get rid of it. The day it breaks, it would be a tragedy.
Right.
We've got Amy saying hello. Hi everybody. We've got no dream potteries yet. I guess it's kind of a vague question, but it can be anything. Oh, we've got Kate saying hello from Kent. Jenny saying hello. Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today. We've just been chatting about our dream potteries. Oh, Vanna Taylor has said, hi Keith, looking forward to seeing a fire sculpture. Hello from Derbyshire. Hi Vanna.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing a fire sculpture too now. I'll have to research it after I go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
They're great things. Usually it involves drinking lots of alcohol as well, and fire. So the two together is not a great combination, but it is quite fun. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got Ben Vaughan Morris who said, "Hiya, Ben from the Little Welsh Dresser, loving your new show." Hi. It's nice to see everyone from so many different places. We're really covering a lot of the UK right now with you up in
Brilliant.
Scotland, well, everywhere really. But yeah, great to see you all. We're chatting about our dream pottery. Mine's very boring, a bowl. Keith's is very exciting on the other end of the spectrum. We've got Elaine who's saying hi from Hereford. Hi, Elaine. Oh, it's lovely to see everybody. Thank you all for joining us with the little delay, but I'm sure it'll be a brilliant session. Oh, Pip is saying, "Hi, Keith. How is your Welsh coming along?"
Diane. Yeah. Yeah.
Bore Pip.
Bore da, yeah. Dwi eisiau dysgu siarad Cymraeg. There you go. I'm going to learn to speak Welsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a positive statement, really. Yeah. Well, I should say, dwi eisiau trio siarad Cymraeg. I'm going to try to speak Welsh. Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard language.
It is.
Apparently it's the second hardest language in the world after Mandarin. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame for you. Both would be useful with your work in China and then in Wales as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Why did I do that? Oh well, never mind. Yeah.
Pippa said, "Diolch. I'm finding it very difficult." It is very difficult. I am Welsh, and in Wales we do GCSE Welsh. We have to do it. But since then I haven't done very much, and I'm trying now as an adult, and it's once you get past the basics, the tenses, it's really difficult. It's so different to anything else.
Well, it's things like it's a very poetic language.
Yeah.
You know, so we heard the other day that, you know, if someone wants to say, it's very dark at night, that translates in Welsh as it's as black as the inside of a cow's stomach. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Or there's no such real terminology for to vote, like to put your cross on a voting ballot, which is quite topical at the moment. But they say, let your voice be heard, which is wonderful. Which is a lovely way. That's to vote, which is amazing, really. I mean, where we're moving to in Pwllheli in North Wales, Welsh is the first language. I mean, we've met people that struggle to speak English, and I kind of like that. You know, it's really different. There's a college at the top of the road, and all the young people, sort of, you know, them young people like yourself, young people, they walk past the chapel in the morning, and they're all speaking Welsh, and it's amazing. It's brilliant. Yeah.
No, it is lovely. My dad couldn't speak English until he was about 5 or 6. He was first language Welsh. Which I don't think you get much of anymore, but it's a really nice thing. Oh, we've got someone with their dream pottery item from Janet, who would like to make a waterfall/fountain sculpture for the garden. But it's a total fantasy because she's never done any pottery and doesn't have a garden. Fair enough, Janet.
But no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah. Sue's saying, "I'm watching Our Welsh Dream and love seeing Keith and Marge learning to speak Welsh."
Yeah.
We also have Pip, who's asked, "How's your Mandarin?"
Oh, it's not great. No, booyao. No way. Booyah. There's 2 things you need to know in Mandarin: booyao, which is no way, and hen hao, which is very good. So there you go. But I love it because in like Welsh, in Mandarin, if there's a modern word and they haven't got a word for it because it's too modern, like, you know, poppy ping is microwave in Welsh. In Mandarin, the word for McDonald's is Mai Don Lao. We go to Mai Don Lao. Yeah, McDonald's, and you can sort of see that. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is interesting, and people make fun of words like popsy ping, but then the language is so old that we also have beautiful words that are like incomparable to anything in English, like hiraeth. That there is no translation to that.
What's that? What was that word?
Hiraeth is like a sense of nostalgia for home, but there's
Oh,
no
wow.
direct
I like
translation.
that.
It's a really
Yeah,
lovely
that's
word.
great. Yeah.
But yeah, we've got more comments about the Welsh language. Sorry.
Well,
It's
the
beautifully written.
Mabinogion is one of the oldest folklore books in the world, and that's Welsh folklore, which is amazing, you know. And we've gone to the Eisteddfod now 2 years in a row, because the Eisteddfod, obviously, it's on our Welsh Chapel Dream, but it was just on the doorstep of Pwllheli this year, so we went along, and it's amazing. Everyone's speaking Welsh, so it's very hard to understand, but it's incredible. It's just such a celebration of Welsh culture and the language, and it's lovely. And all the young people, there's a field called the Mice Bee, which is the field, the bee field, which is where all the young people stay, and it's like a mini Glastonbury. It's amazing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, my dad used to go, like, the Eisteddfod was his, like, Reading festival when he was younger. That's, like, where he would go. That was, like, the rite of passage to go to the Eisteddfod.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, Sue said she's just holidayed in West Wales, and it was challenging trying to read the road and place signs, let alone say them. Very true. And Pip has always wanted to do pottery, loves dragons, so would love to do a large dragon for our garden. Ooh, that would be, I feel like that would be very hard to make with pottery. All of the bits of the dragon.
Yeah. Just think of a teapot and then put wings on it.
Very true. Okay, we better get started with the Q&A before we run out of time. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm Annabel, and I'm here with Listening Books. For any of you who don't know who we are a charity here in the UK, and we provide audiobooks for anyone who finds that their ability to read is affected by an illness or a disability, mental illness, and so on. So if you do think we could help you today, just check us out, and hopefully we can help. But obviously that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk to Keith all about his memoir, Boy in a China Shop, and about the TV shows. So thank you so much, Keith, for being here today.
No problem.
I am going to give a quick introduction just before we go ahead, although I'm sure nobody needs it. So Keith Brymer Jones is an award-winning ceramicist, also known for his work on the Great Pottery Throwdown and Our Welsh Chapel Dream. His memoir, Boy in a China Shop, described by a Listening Books member as a good news book, is all about his fascinating life with pottery, becoming a almost rock star, and everything else in between. So thank you so much, Keith, for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Right.
So before we get into the Q&A, if you start popping your questions in the chat now, Keith, for anyone who hasn't read or listened to your book yet, would you be able to give a brief introduction to what it's all about?
Yeah, I suppose. Right. Okay. So it's basically my unorthodox path to ceramics and to being on telly, really, at the end of it. And basically what I've tried to do is try and sort of explain the algorithm of life. We all have an algorithm to our lives, and it's all about those options that you take, whether you go left or right through a door, and those kind of options that you have. And each chapter is kind of loosely based around an object or something that has happened that was meaningful in my life. And then that's connected to a particular story that's quite prevalent in my life, really. And that's basically it, really. It's just the wonder of how life has these different sort of options that it throws at you, and it's what you do with those options, and that determines your destiny, without sounding too hippie nightmare. But yeah.
So thank you for that. The questions are already rolling in. So We've got Jenny, who's asked, running a business, pottery throwdown, doing up the chapel, how do you do it all and keep smiling?
It's hard work, because I mean, it's weird, because Today I'm on the Isle of Bute. Tomorrow I'm back in Glasgow because I'm at the Ideal Home exhibition in Glasgow doing, I call it jazz hands, and talking and demonstrating there. And it is quite hard. It's really enjoyable, but it's the fact that you have to pigeonhole your brain with the different sort of sections of your life. Really, it's there's the day job, there's the telly. And then there's actual pottery, which is the best bit, which ironically is the bit that gets sort of squeezed out because I'm doing all the jazz hands. So yeah, it's quite hard. Yeah, but it's wonderful. I've got a brilliant partner who's with me usually all the time, which is great. And we travel up and down the country, where we start the tour again, the second leg of the tour on the 2nd of June. We're in Stoke for that. So yeah, no, it's all good really. But yeah, it's tiring. Funnily enough, we were up here on Bute for Christmas last year, and I suddenly realised we hadn't stayed in the same bed for more than 6 days in a row for about a year and a half. Yeah, not even our own bed. We just hadn't been in the same bed for more than 6 days in a row, which was quite bizarre, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've got another question. Your amazing project with the chapel is so inspiring. When do you think that you will open?
Yeah. The idea is to get the living space done first. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of the year. And then the first half of next year, I'll be setting up the studio. And the studio really is my own personal studio, which I'll be taking on apprenticeships for, to help me to basically to go back to what I used to do, which was production throwing and hand making. We'll do a bit of slip casting, we'll do a bit of jigger work and stuff like that. And we will have open days, but it won't be open to the public all the time. But there will be open days, and obviously we're sort of sorting out the main hall as a kind of a general community space, which again will be open certain days of the year and so forth for various exhibitions or poetry readings or folk music or anything really. So that's the idea. We want to allow the community in, but it is our home as well. So we've got to watch the privacy bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Paz has asked, the book is such a love story to pottery. How did you fall in love with the art of pottery?
Oh God. I mean, that I've told this story time and time again, but basically, yeah, I mean, I was at school at the first year of school, age 11, first touched my first ball of clay, and literally haven't looked back since. It literally was like a religious calling. And actually, funnily enough, I often say, if it wasn't for my dyslexia, I might not have taken up pottery. But, you know, if you're dyslexic, you'll probably know this already, but you have a much better affinity to shape, form and volume. And obviously working with clay, it's kind of like the perfect medium to work with, because that's what you're doing all the time, manipulating the clay into shape, form and volume, really, into a three-dimensional object. And I think back in the day when I was 11, I didn't know that really, but subconsciously that's what I was doing. I was tapping into that part of my brain, which was brilliant. So thanks for being dyslexic. That's it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you do speak about that in the book, your dyslexia. And I was wondering, obviously we're an audiobook charity and the audiobook is really nice, lovely. So I wonder if your experience with dyslexia made it more important to you to have a really good audiobook edition, because obviously it helps people access books.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, the publishers said, it would be really good. We usually try and ask the authors to do the audiobook as well. Some people just don't have the time or don't have the inclination to do it. But yeah, no, I found it a real personal challenge to do it myself. And you rock up and you're in a small studio in Soho. for 3 days, and you read the book obviously from cover to cover, and I found it a real sense of achievement. I mean, obviously I can read now, and it's not really a problem, but it was quite important for me to do the audio book as well as write the book as well.
Yeah.
For the exact same reason you just gave, which is it's a personal challenge, and I thought it was important because in the past when I've been sitting on the wheel making pots, actually, you know what, audiobooks are the perfect medium, because you're there sitting, you're engrossed in your ceramics, working on the wheel, and you've got a wonderful audiobook to listen to, which is brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you. Sue's asked, how many times did you have to pause and wipe away tears while recording, Keith?
Oh, yeah, quite a few, actually. Quite a few. Yeah. And it's amazing when you do the audiobook, because there's a guy that sits with you. He was a wonderful chap, and the engineer and the owner of the studio, actually. And he was on the other side of the glass, and he literally has to read the book with you to make sure that you don't forget anything or miss something. And the way it's recorded now, it's so state of the art that they can literally splice a word in syllables. So, any stuttering and spluttering can all be evened out throughout the book. It's quite amazing, really. And he was a wonderful chap, and bless him, he had to listen to me reading the whole book through. So it was good though, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Good, that's good to hear. When I was listening to the book as well, I did also shed a few tears. It was lovely, but in a nice way. But our member review made a comment saying that they like how it was unedited in those moments. So when it did get a bit tearful, you didn't get rid of that. You kept it in, kept it authentic. So was that important to you to keep those moments in?
Well, funnily enough, I thought that they'd go, oh no, can you do that again? Because obviously that's not good. And the engineer said, and it was his call really. He said, no, let's keep that in. We didn't keep the swearing in, but we kept that in, because he said no, it accentuates the story, and it's really nice, and it makes it a bit more personal, which is fine. And I had no issue with that. And as you quite rightly say, I think because of that, it makes it quite nice, and it makes it very unique and personal to my story, which is obviously what we wanted to do. Yeah.
Pip has asked, haven't heard or read your book yet, but birthday coming soon. I'm looking forward to reading it. Is there a way of obtaining a signed copy, please?
You can go through to my website, keithbrymerjones.com, and you'll then go through to our distributor, Former House, and I think he's still got some copies left. I think it got into its third pressing. They might do another pressing, but it's sold remarkably well, to be honest. I mean, I've been amazed. It's done really, really well, and we've sold a hell of a lot of books. So I think he's still got some signed copies. So go through my website and you'll be able to buy the book there.
Okay, thank you. On the topic of the audiobook, I did have a couple of questions myself. At the start and the end, there is rock music playing. So I have two questions about that. One, what made you decide to do that? And two, is it you who's singing?
Yeah, it is me that's singing,
really?
And I didn't decide to do that. No, they did. The publishers, they thought it would be a good idea to sort of lead in with that and then end with the And that single is a single called 6 O'Clock Shuffle, which we had a modicum of success with. But if you go on YouTube, you can see a skinnier version of me singing it. So yeah.
I was wondering whether it was you.
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
No, it was good. I thought it was a really nice touch for audiobook listeners to have something like that in there. Pips commented, "Love how you and Marge are both so emotional. Bet your tissue bill is pricey."
Yeah, no, it is. No, absolutely. In fact, funnily enough, Marge is probably more emotional in the chapel than I am, really. I just tend to laugh in the face of adversity. I know Marge was going through quite a lot personally at the time. Her father was really ill, and it's all good. I mean, he's sadly passed away now, but when we were filming, yeah, she was a real trooper, and we filmed all the way through his illness and his then subsequent demise. But yeah, it's quite an anxiety-driven kind of project anyway. Yeah, I tend to laugh in the face of fear, and Marge is a bit more intelligent than me, and she realizes the the problems ahead. Yeah.
Well, sorry to hear that, but it is a great show. I'm loving it as well. What made you decide to do the whole Welsh chapel renovation? It's very daunting task.
Well, look, I mean, seriously, I mean, obviously, we probably quite a lot of us have had sort of epiphany moments through lockdown and COVID and stuff. And basically, we were held up in my studio in Kent at the time. I don't own that, but it was wonderful because I could literally go downstairs and start playing with clay every single day. And we quite often thought that we wanted to move. We didn't want to live in a conventional house. So we were looking at old petrol stations, believe it or not, cinemas, libraries, anything that was fairly sizable that I could have a studio in. And I came across this place called Capel Salem on Salem Terrace in Pwllheli. And I turned to Marge and I said, look, I found this chapel, in North Wales. We literally jumped in the car the next day and went to have a look, and we kind of fell in love with it straight away. It was incredibly damp, and it's in a really bad way, but the size was amazing. I mean, it's got 2 halls, for God's sake. Yeah. So one hall will be the studio, the other hall will be as I say, this kind of community shared community space, and then underneath the studio hall is this huge area which is going to be our living space. So the whole place is 8,500 square feet, for God's sake. Wow. So it's massive. So it's great. It's just about large enough for our imagination. So there you go.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I have a question that I was asked. Someone can't attend, and they've asked me to ask you. It's my friend's mum, who's also a ceramicist. She's amazing, but she's asked, setting the tasks and judging on a throwdown, it must be inspiring. Do you ever create more sculptural or decorative work other than your functional pieces? Is it something you might pursue?
Well, you know what? What's quite exciting is that obviously I'm setting up this studio up in Wales, and I've now got the time to be able to do that. I'm having 2 massive kilns built in the place, and they have to be built inside on site because you can't get them through the door, and we're not taking the door out. So and it's going to be really exciting. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to sort of experimenting with one-off pieces, and I often get asked to do big commissions and things, and this is a really great opportunity to be able to explore that side of my ceramics, really. As I say, I traditionally trained as a production thrower, which I love, but yeah, doing the more one-off sort of pieces will and the more personal pieces maybe to a certain degree, which it'll be really lovely. It'll be fantastic. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, there is something really personal about making pottery. I've made a few very amateur pieces with my friend's mum, and I gave them as gifts to my sister and a few of my friends. And I think there's something so different about giving something that you've made yourself. And I think they really appreciated it as well.
No, absolutely. And obviously I'm going to bang on about clay. Oh, you're a shocker. Who knew? But no, there is something really personal about, manipulating the clay and transforming it into something that's personal to you, and a personal message. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons why I get quite emotional on the show, is because it's that time when the potter, whoever they are in the studio, has made the thing that, or tried to make the thing that we've asked them to make. It's sitting there on the judging bench between Rich and I and the maker, and it's the conduit between the two of us, or the three of us. It's that thing in the middle, and their message and what they're trying to portray through what they've made. And it is incredibly intense, really. You know, sometimes you can cut the atmosphere with a knife within the studio when we're judging, and it's just a wonderful experience. And I love that. And I think there, again, without sounding too hippie nightmare, but there is something about clay, it coming from the earth, and it being so manipulative and personal, with what you can do in a creative way. I did a forward for a book from the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, and it was about ceramics, and some of the ceramics was really, really ancient. And there was one piece of ceramic that was 6,000 years old. Wow. They reckon it was probably one of the first pots ever to be made on a wheel. And you could still see the maker's thumbprints in it. Wow. It's kind of mind-blowing, really, that you know, that making is literally set in time, in stone, in ceramic. So yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, wonderful.
We've had Sue, who said she couldn't agree more. I do a lot of crafts and paint too. I can't deal with selling anything because they feel like my children, but giving something that I've made to someone is an amazing feeling, which is so true. It's very satisfying, I think, as well. Having them in mind when you're making something is really nice. Like I made a little incense burner for my friend's birthday, and I stamped her. It's terrible. I literally stamped EM24 because that was her initials and her age. So that's all I did. But still, like, I think having her in mind while making it made it really special. I think it's like a connection between me and my best friend having this piece, which was really lovely, and really satisfying as well. What do you think is the most satisfying part of making pottery for you?
For me, I love the throwing. I love the actual making the ceramic on the wheel, but I love turning, to be honest. I love finishing off the pot, turning the base, because that's when you know, you actually define the shape. When you finish the shape off, and obviously being dyslexic, it's all about shape for me, and seeing that form come alive and be really, really crisp in front of your eyes. And I love that. I love that bit. And of course, opening the bloody kiln at the end of it, you know, and seeing and trying to sort of visualize that thing in your head, opening that kiln door, and hopefully the two are very quite well connected, that vision that you had in your head and that three-dimensional object that's on that kiln shelf. And that's an amazing experience, and I still get that feeling even today. I mean, I've been doing ceramics for over 40 years, but there's still that sense of excitement in opening that kiln door and seeing what you've actually made and whether it's turned out okay. Which is brilliant. Yeah,
I can imagine. We've got a question from Amy, who's asked, what kind of writing process did you have with your memoir? Was it difficult to decide what to include?
It was at first. It's funny, you know, not that I'm any expert or whatever, but when you write a book like that, for me, it was all about the format and the concept of the book. And once you've got the format, i.e. object with every single chapter, marry that object up with a significant story. And for me, a very dear friend of mine, who was a writer, who still is a writer, but hadn't been published, Mick, actually the guitarist in the band, one of my oldest friends, I asked him if he would help me write the book. And I persuaded the publishers that, you know, he could help me rather than get a ghostwriter, which could be a bit formulaic. So I asked him if he would help me write the book. And I persuaded the publishers that, you know, he could help me rather than get a ghostwriter, which could be a bit formulaic. So I asked him if he would help me rather than get a ghostwriter, which could be a bit formulaic. So So yeah, we devised this kind of concept of each chapter having this sort of significant story and a piece of ceramic. Shocker, who knew? And it seemed to really work. So yeah, getting that concept right, and then just filling that concept up with your ideas, really, which is that kind of really helped for me. Yeah.
That's really nice that the book was collaborative with a friend. I haven't heard that before from talking to an author, and it's lovely.
Yeah, well, to be perfectly honest, you're too young for this analogy, but he's kind of the George Michael, and I'm the Andrew Ridgeley of the book.
I do get that analogy.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. No, I wrote reams and reams of stuff down, and all the stories, and it was Mick that then put it into a semblance of order. And the wonderful thing about writing it with Mick, although I've known him for years, we kind of bonded even more over the book, really. And and it was really wonderful. And there was this moment about 1.5-2 months into writing the book that he suddenly clicked my kind of language, my kind of way of writing, and it was wonderful, really. And he's stop getting emotional.
Oh, don't! It'll set me off.
But it was wonderful. Yeah, it was really wonderful. Yeah. I mean, I don't talk to him anymore now. No, he's dead to me. But no, he's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's great.
I've got a question from Claire, who's asked, what pieces have you loved most from contestants on the show?
There are amazing pieces. I mean, obviously I talk about it on the tour, but I talk about Christine's self-sculpture. I think that was in series 5. That was amazing because it came completely out of the blue. We asked them to do a self-sculpture of themselves, a surrealist sculpture, like a Henry Moore or something like that. And she brought this piece up to the judging bench, and it just blew us all away. And it was the story behind it and the way she emulated that story through what she'd made, a bit similar to what we were talking about before. But it was amazing, and it was an incredibly powerful piece. And then on the flip side of that, Derek's ferret in the last series, it was so wrong. It was brilliant. It was just really funny. And there you go. There's the complete spectrum of ceramics. Something that could be really meaningful and really mean something to you as well as the observer, or something really ridiculous and really funny. And I love that. It's great. Yeah.
I've got a question from Jenny, who's asked, when is our Welsh Chapel Dream, the book, available? Hope it's a possibility. Fingers crossed.
Well, interestingly, I think we're talking about that as we speak. But it'll be a while. It won't be till next year, if and when. I mean, obviously, our Welsh Chapel Dream, the first series is only 4 episodes, and it's kind of almost like an introduction into what's going to happen. So fingers crossed, we get a second series. The figures are very encouraging. The viewing figures have been great. And hopefully a second series, and then maybe possibly a book. Who knows? Yeah. Which I'll write with Marge, obviously.
Oh, you could collaborate on the audiobook as well. Read it out.
Yeah, do you know what? That would be great, because Marge is an actor by trade, and she's incredibly good at voices. Different dialects, different voices. She does a radio program on Channel 4 called Fags, Mags and Bags, which is a sitcom. And you literally wouldn't recognize who she was on that. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that audiobook when it comes. I'll be listening. Pip said hopefully another series as well, which I'm sure we can all agree to that, Pip. Yeah, so I really liked how, talking about the Welsh Chapel Dream now, you weren't narrating it, which was interesting. You'd think with a program about your life and like your project, you'd be the narrator. So how did you decide to choose someone else to narrate the story of what was going on?
Yeah. Well, the thing was that we wanted to get someone who was Welsh for a start. So we've got Gruffydd, I think that's how you say his name. And he's our Griffith, yeah, he's our Welsh narrator, and actually he's only a few miles away from Pwllheli. That's where he lived growing up. And as you probably know, the Welsh accent is different down south than it is up north. There's all these little sort of nuances. So yeah, getting him on board to narrate the show was fairly important. And quite frankly, to be perfectly honest with you, it was the production team that sort of said, no, we need a Welsh voice for this. And it works really well. It's great. Yeah,
it is. When I first turned it on and I heard the narrator, I thought, is Keith putting on a Welsh accent? is that your imitation of a North Walian accent? And then I realised, oh no, it's not. It is a Welsh person.
Because there's a very specific way of saying Pwllheli, Pwllheli, because it's double L, Pwllheli. Yeah, which means salt pond, basically. Heli is obviously salt in Welsh, and Pwll is pond, apparently. So Pwllheli, So, lots of people say Pwllheli or Pwllheli. Honestly, there's so many people we've met that can't actually say the name. It's really funny. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, well, I struggle with it. It's hard to make that sound. Especially when it's in the middle of a word. I think at the start it's easier when it's flan.
Yeah.
But when it's in the middle, it's hard. It's hard to get your tongue around it when it's in the middle of a word.
That's right.
Talking about the pottery throwdown, you mentioned in the book that it really brought some light into people's lives during the lockdown. But it also raised the profile of pottery. So did you expect this was going to happen, that it would be such a force in getting people into pottery?
No, it was a real it was a real stab in the dark at first. It was a bit of a risk to do pottery on telly, and I must admit, when I was asked to do it first, I thought, really, pottery on telly? It'll be like watching paint dry, because I realize how long it takes to process. But through the power of editing and the fact that we film each episode over 1 week, one episode takes a week to film, and we have to start because things dry out, things cool down. So it's quite a logistical feat of engineering to do. But I think the fact that pottery is now the new black. It's amazing that people have taken it up, and I think it's that thing when you do anything kind of cognitive, it's that mindfulness you get from doing a sort of a cognitive endeavor, like and clay. You can literally lose yourself in the making process, and I think people are quite fascinated by that. I mean, we live in a very digital age. We live in a very sort of fast forward, click on this, swipe left, swipe right. It's all very, very instant. And I think there's a real antidote with pottery to the flip side of that, of taking your time and taking your time in doing something for a friend, as you making something for a friend. There's a value in that. Learning something over time. There's a real value in that, and I think that's what people are really tapping into, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in uni during lockdown, and I had a friend who started watching the show during lockdown, and obviously we couldn't go out clubbing or anything. So him and his housemates every week they would make a new pottery piece for the show along with what everyone was making. So you can just imagine.
Brilliant.
Group of 21-year-olds all, instead of going out, just sitting in their house making stuff clay.
rock and roll. Rock and roll. No, but it's great. It's really, really good. It has really captured people's imagination, and that's wonderful. Yeah, really good.
There's a funny comment from Sue. She talking about Griffith narrating the series. She thought it was Rob Brydon.
Oh yeah, no. We tried to get Rob Brydon. He's far too expensive. Yeah, no.
Very different accent as well.
It is. Yeah, very different because he's down south. Yeah.
He's Swansea like me. Charlie has asked, "What are you most excited about with the chapel?"
I suppose definitely living there, living in Pwllheli. The people are amazing. There's a real community there. And making my first pot in the studio, that'll be a momentous occasion. That won't happen for a while. But yeah, just waking up in the morning and being able to go upstairs and hopefully make some wonderful pots. Yeah, no, it'll be really wonderful. And being able to sort of just see marginalized sort of imagination come to life for what we want to do. I mean, one of the things that we want to do is we're going to start growing trees inside the main hall. We want to have big trees in the main hall, on big trugs that you can wheel about. But big trees, you know, because the ceiling of the hall is of a good 70 feet high. So yeah, it'll be wonderful. Yeah, it'll be really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sue said, haha, he was probably too busy impersonating Tom Jones.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, he's great at impersonations, actually.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
We are coming to the end, so if anyone does have any questions, please pop them in the chat now, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. But we've got a comment from Charlie who said, I do ceramics and I find it so hard not to produce something of value each time, just to learn the methods. Yeah, I guess that would be really hard, because when you have the clay, you think you need to be making something every time rather than just honing your skill.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, that's why obviously production throwing, you know, there were a lot of things that went in the bin, and don't be afraid of doing that. If it doesn't look right, or you're not happy with it, get rid. Just chuck it away. Do something. Start again, because quite frankly, you know, the only time we ever learn is when we make mistakes. Someone said that the other day to me. You know, we very rarely learn from success, because you don't need to if you're successful in something. So it's that learning process through mistakes. I often describe my life as a series of mistakes, because hopefully you learn from those and then you move on. And so yeah, don't be afraid to just chuck it away. You know, clay's a brilliant thing. If it's not fired, you can reclaim it and just start again. And it's that practice ethic which is really good. Yeah.
So you've got a couple of questions coming in. Jenny has asked, what's the most unexpected thing you found in the chapel you didn't expect?
Oh, well, that would be Blodwyn. And our Blodwyn is a doll we found underneath the stage. Yeah, there was a bit of broken floorboard, and if you shined the light down, a torch, there was Blodwyn. That's what we've named her, Blodwyn, and she had a ring of flowers all the way around her. It was very bizarre. But we're keeping Blodwyn. We'll put her in a glass case because she's rather wonderful. Yeah.
Is that why you called her Blodwyn, the flowers?
I don't know why. What does Blodwyn mean?
I think white flower. I think Blodwyn.
Oh right. Oh okay. Marge is shaking her head now. Yes.
Happy coincidence.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Yeah.
Sue said that's quite creepy. It is very creepy.
No, it is really creepy. Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, we love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Jean has asked, are you worried about how much it will cost to do the chapel in the end?
Yes. Yes, we are. Yes. Simple answer to a simple question. Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah. Because what it's doing is it's funny. I mean, who knew that we're going to have to spend £20,000 on pigeon poo? You know, that was the first thing we spent money on, and it was ridiculous. And now, there's other issues which hopefully you'll see in the second series. So I won't say anything. Spoiler alert. But with an old building like that, it just throws up all these surprises. Sometimes good ones, and sometimes really bad ones. And it's going to be a money pit for the rest of our lives. We know that, and that's fine as long as we've got the money to keep it going. Yeah.
Oh, it's worth it though in the end.
Yeah.
We've got a few people saying now, hi Marge, morning Marge, hadn't realised you were there. People are all saying hi.
I'm always here.
There she is.
Hello.
There she is. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, we've got a positive spin on Blodwyn from Louisa, who said she protects the house.
Oh,
That's a good way
yeah.
of
Well,
thinking about that.
that's what we think. That's what we think. I mean, obviously, there was kids playing about. Well, a long time ago. But yeah, no, we think that's what it was. But yeah, no, she protects the building, definitely. Yeah.
And this will have to be our last question, which is quite a funny note to end on. Have you installed your mortuary slab yet? Talking of creepy.
No, we haven't yet. No, because the kitchen is still to be done. But yeah, no, it's weird. Porcelain or clay mortuary slabs are just amazing. They're just an amazing thing, and it's got lovely ceramic legs. It's a really old one, I think, circa 1930s or whatever. Yeah, that'll be a real momentous occasion when we place the mortuary slab in the right place, right in the center of the kitchen. Yeah, we're gonna get a nice chopping block made for the top of it as well, an oak chopping block. So yeah, but it'll be amazing. Yeah, they're wonderful objects, really nice.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, the chopping block over the mortuary slab. It seems quite morgue-like.
Yeah, it is a bit, but no, it's good. It's really good. But again, isn't it weird how one associates a certain piece of ceramic or an object with a certain thing, and we're trying to sort of counteract that, really. Yeah.
No, it's really interesting. I'd like to come and visit the mortuary slab.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It'll be there.
But yeah, we are going to have to wrap up now. We're at the end of the session, which is gutting because it's been so fun to talk to you, Keith. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'm glad we got all the technicals sorted out in the end anyway. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. All right. Yeah, nice to see you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining as well. It's been great to chat. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.